very important up against Viking, who do go immediately into the Snapfire pick now. And that is one of those supports that can be very, very active early on. Just has a lot of magic burst. And it's very, very hard to fight into. I still think if you want, though, Earth Spirit is a pretty great pick here. Just put the Snapfire as the position 5 and run the POS 4 ES if you want. It can be a little bit rough into Clockwork, though. Like, Earth Spirit doesn't like playing into the Battery Assault and cogs of Clockwork. It can be very, very frustrating. So maybe they won't bother. But they look good so far. I did really like the Kunkka pickup, though, from Cyber Legacy, because it also allows them to fight early with that boat, right? You get a boat run buff. Makes everyone a lot tankier on your side of things. It makes it very, very hard for Viking to comfortably take any team fights and push quick. They are going to take a lot of time for this this fourth pickup, Cyber Legacy. They're just going to have a think about it. In fact, they're going to have a very long think about this one. I like it. The Tidehunter comes out as well. Again, great team fight, great wave clear. It's pretty much exactly what you need, and it's also not a hero you can burst down very easily. Right? Lycan and Death Prophet like heroes that are kind of squishy, that they can just kind of take care of ASAP and not have to deal with. Though Viking, they respond with the Shadow Demon now. That's one way to deal with the Tidebringer. Or excuse me, the Tidehunter. The Shadow Poison can be pretty painful for this poor man. You can really get through a lot of his HP quite quick. And even his other ability, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but the one that just instantly removes a bunch of their HP can be quite effective up against a hero like Tidehunter. And overall, I mean, I do still kind of prefer what I'm seeing from Viking, but I can't really underestimate what Cyber Legacy has and their potential with their draft. Because the thing is, if Viking get behind, if we're 20, 30 minutes in and they haven't found a tier 3 tower or a Rax, it becomes so much harder to win the game out. Because their heroes do drop off quite a bit. Yeah, you've still got split push potential. Yeah, you can try and rat them out. You can really drag on the game, but it'll be rough.
Radiant team pick. Dire team pick.
And there's the POS one, Ricky. How did I not know this was coming? Just another hero that loves to fight early. Very, very disruptive. The smokescreen. Going to be paying a lot of dividends here. As that innate silence with the smokescreen is going to be extremely frustrating for heroes like the Kunkka, like the Tidebringer. The Ancient Apparition probably not even going to survive these team fights because the Ricky can just jump the backlines and burst her down ASAP.
5 seconds remaining.
Cyber Legacy. What's your POS 1? Like, how do you react to this? I don't think they can afford to try and drag this game out. Alright, that's a fair pick. It takes a bit of time for the PL to come out online. Thing is, though, they don't have any ways of dealing with the PL, apart from maybe the Ricky. The Snapfire can also be kind of frustrating with the Mortimer's Kisses, just taking out those illusions very, very quick. The Ricky, if he does manage to find the smokescreen and have the real PL, then it can be quite easy and simple to burst the Phantom Lancer down. But overall, if the PL gets too much space, he's allowed to farm too much, things get very complicated for Viking. Still, it's going to be a rather interesting game one between these two. I suppose we'll find out how it all pans out very, very soon.
10 seconds remain. 5 seconds remaining.
Again, if in case you weren't around before, Cyber Legacy, they did just come out of a very, very long best of 3 series up against Chicken Fighters. They did win, but it looked pretty tiring, I'm not gonna lie. It can work in their favor though, having that momentum on their side of things just before they get into their next series up against Viking. Only time will tell, but it did look like a tiring series, that's for sure. Alright, and we'll get into it. Game number 1.
Prepare for battle.
Toby. Of course, because they have that position 1 Ricky, it is actually going to be a position 3 Lycan. That's something I didn't really talk about during that draft. I like the switch up though. Lycan's not actually a bad offlane hero. It has a lot of passive regen in the Feral Impulse. In fact, they did buff it at level 1, I believe. It was 1 bonus HP regen at level 1, but now it's 2. That is substantial. And once you hit the level 2 mark, having 4 bonus regen, not to mention all the bonus attack damage you get on the Lycan, it's just so effective. And so as a position 3, you basically do the same thing as a position 1 Lycan. Helm of Dominator, go for the Necromonicon 3 book, and just start pushing towers down. You don't need boots. Like, really, I doubt he'll even bother. Is there going to be an engagement over these bot runes? Not quite. So, Cyber League, they'll grab 2 for themselves. Up at the top lane, Viking, they do manage to also find 2 for themselves. And I guess another bonus of having Lycan is if you miss the initial creep block, you can use your wolves, but he's missed that as well. Still got a bit of a block off, but right now, Bignum is doing a much better job on the AA. Very good indeed. Will still be decent enough for Viking. Aramis already going to get started with this Shadow Poison spam. It's going to be a very, very tough lane for Palantamos on that PL. You don't only have the Lycan Wolves and himself to deal with, but these Shadow Poison stacks, they're getting up pretty high now. 3. Can he get to 4? He cannot. The amount of damage that Shadow Poison does multiply as the stacks go up. So if you can get to that 5 mark, the damage is pretty darn insane. We'll have a quick look over to that mid lane, where Pikachu, he'll be up against Boom on the DP. It's not the easiest lane in the world for a Kunkka. Like, you have the Tidebringer to harass with and secure a CS, but you're always going to get this happening to you, Spirit Siphon. And it's really going to drag you down as a Kunkka. Boom, of course, Also has the Crypt Swarm to just harass with and secure his own CS with. It's going to be a very, very hard lane for Pikachu. He's doing a very good job so far. 10-3 on the Kunkka. Down a bot lane, Chappie is going to be there on the Watermelon. Shad will be there on the Pos 1 Ricky. Celery on the Snapfire. And there is, of course, going to be the Pos 4 Clockwork being played by Lil himself. And Lil actually opting to go for level 1 Cogs. But it's just to make sure he can push them away if they do jump on his Tide. His Tide at level 1 is very weak. He is level 2 now though, so at least he has some crack and shell charges. His top lane, Aramis getting very low. Bignum couldn't quite finish the job off. That's fine, you do force the Shadow Demon to at least use his salve. Now, Cold Feet gonna be there on Toby. Toby should be just fine to walk away. Lantimos, I mean, considering the lane he's in, he's actually doing a fantastic job. 9-2 so far on the PL. Spot lane. Lil does get taken out. Shad, he picks up the first blood on the Ricky. Looks like he tried to cogs them away, but Celery and Shad were already there. Of course, you can just Blink Strike into the Kongs if you need to as top lane. We are going to have disruption onto Platymus. It's not really going to lead to anything. He'll be fine. A little bit of harassment. Pikachu. Again, gonna get jumped on with that Spirit Siphon. He'll just kind of whack him back. Pikachu is still having a pretty darn decent time considering the lane matchup. Still top of the last hits board. It's quite impressive. Now I'm going to have a rotation from Lil. Invisrune going to be there. Pikachu does not grab it himself. He doesn't have a bottle quite yet, but Lil will take it. Try to set himself up for a gank attempt here onto Boom. Not going to be too easy though, Boom. He has some pretty good equilibrium in his lane. Lil is actually going to just try and help block up these creeps so he can set up for the Kongs. But it seems as though Boom is aware something's awry here. He's not actually moving forward. And forget that for a second as Aramis was getting very low on the Shadow Demon, but looks like he is able to just get out just in time as Platymus was chasing. And mid lane, Lil did end up leaving anyway. He just couldn't see the opportunity. Just does back off. Try to maybe find the Snapfire now as Celery is going to get spotted out, but Lil, his Invis Rune will wear off. Chad now. Blink Strike onto Lil. Bounty is already there for the clock. He'll go get the other one. That's all they wanted. Happily take it as mid lane. Pikachu again gonna fall very, very low on the Kunkka. He can just XTP, heal himself up and be back with full HP pretty much. I guess you've always got that going for you if you do have a Kunkka. The thing is the TP cooldown is quite long and now they are pretty expensive. So it does cost you doing that as mid lane again. Spirit Siphons come out and Aramis, he has rotated. Won't be enough. Pikachu will just go ahead, farm up the neutrals for a bit. I think Vicon will just be happy that the Kunkka is kind of low on HP. And they know he won't be able to XTP again for a while, so unless Pikachu wants to buy more regen, he'll be stuck like this for a while.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Celery gonna make a bit of a rotation into mid now. Aramis is already there on the SD, just waiting for an opportunity. You do have a very easy cookie setup with the disruption. So Celery will just kind of wait in the fog, and in fact, never mind. They're going to go for the push. Exorcism has been popped. Boom. He'll start moving forward with the Spirit Siphon. Pikachu's going to be the target, though. He gets an X off into the boat now. Boom. May fall a bit low. In fact, never mind. He had raindrops. He's healthy as ever, as they are going to find one in the form of the Kunkka, and now Chappie. He rotated in, and he does have Ravage, but it's all too late. On the brighter side, Lil finds 2 couriers while they're in the mid lane. So he finds some couriers, gets some bonus gold for the team. But Cyber, they're definitely not going to be happy with the fact that they just lost their Kunkka. I suppose they'll be okay because they didn't lose the tier 1 mid yet. And that is the first Exorcism of the game being expended as Aramis top lane. Gonna move in onto this PL. Celery not using the Cookie yet, though Scatterblast is gonna be there, and now Cookie does land, and that'll mean Platymus is gonna end up dying. And Viking, that'll give them a 3-0 lead at 7.5 minutes. You have a look at Toby, he's got that Helm of the Dominator up. That means he's pretty much ready to start pushing. You'd like to have the shapeshift, but that's okay. Well, he doesn't really have a dominated creep right now, but I guess you could still push with the wolves in yourself. Bignum gonna try and defend on the AA, but there's only so much he can do. This tier 1 is definitely just gone. We'll try and trade at least the bot tier 1. Glantamos gonna be there with Chappie. It's a much slower process, but Viking isn't really there to defend anyway, so it's gonna happen eventually. Shad's gonna try and be a little bit annoying about it. In fact, Chappie gonna TP out now, so Platymus has to be a little bit careful about this, as Shad does deal some decent damage. Still, he'll try and turn around and go back onto this Ricky. Shad having trouble finding the real PL, now Trick to the Trader, and Disruption comes in, but we do have a pause. Bit of a lag complaint coming out from Celery. But this is a great gank attempt coming out from Aramis now, because you don't have Doppelganger available on this PL. He'll have the Phantom Rush in a second, so he can rush to another creep, but this should mean a pretty easy death. Platymus gonna try, but does end up dying. Cold Feet now gonna come in as Bignum rotates up on the AA, but he can't do anything without Ice Blast. That's gonna make it a 4-0 already. 3k net worth lead for Viking.gg. And while you're trying to defend your PL down bot, Toby, he's forcing in the top wave again. He's almost got that Necro 1 book. And this is really the problem when you're up against the position 3 Lycan, is every time you get your eyes off him, he's going to be taking a tower off you. You can call it Rat Dota all you want, but it works. Bot lane, Chappie sticking around a bit too long again, and Shad, he'll pick up the kill with Celery. Now Disruption going to be there on Bignum. Bignum, he has no way out of this. He'll try and run, but Shad has Blink Strike and will claim the kill for himself on the Ricky. That's going to make it a 6-0 now as mid lane. Lil going to get chased up by a shapeshifted Lycan. Toby, you have an ensnare. He will commit it with the neutral, and Lil should be dead, though no Pikachu. He'll rotate in on the Kunkka, but they will get the Crypt Swarm off, and now Pikachu going to get chased down by this Lycan. He has ensnare again in a few seconds, but he won't bother trying to chase as Pikachu. He did have Boat available. But you're finding everything you could ask for off this map right now if you're Viking.gg. There's no need to try and pursue any kills and be too risky about it. Just follow the strategy. As I say, that Boom is going to rotate mid again. Spirit Siphon, Cogs, going to hold him in for a bit, but he doesn't mind. He's happy to fight. Pikachu, Spirit Siphon's up. Now the Purge as well from Aramis. He's forced to throw the boat in very, very early just to make sure he survives. But Boom now has Exorcism, so without that boat, there's no way you defend this. Shad, he'll rotate in looking for a target. Lil moving forward, he's going to be very careful. Looks like Shad will instead find himself an even easier target in the form of Bignum. But unfortunately for him, though, there is a sentry ward.
Dire's top tower is under
But they found the mid-tier one. That's going to open up the map for Viking. Cyber Legacy. They're just playing the waiting game, right? It's all up to Platimos to just get the farm up on this PL. Once he's there, the game becomes very, very hard for Viking. It's just going to take a bit of time, and it's just going to be a question of whether they can hold out up against the insane push that this draft has. As Viking now have smoked up, they don't have Exorcism, but they don't need it. They have a Lycan, they're going to rush in onto Chappie once again. Poor Chappie, he has Ravage, but there's no reason to commit it here. He wouldn't survive anyway, so he is going to go down. Viking, Cookie is going to land on Pikachu, just perfect from Celery. And now Pikachu going to slowly get chased down, though Lil is going to be here with the cogs, and now the boat, but Disruption is going to save from the boat and the Ice Blast. Toby just taking no damage. Now Lil's going to get jumped on by the tricks of the trade. Shad, do you want to finish the job off? Not quite, he didn't have Blink available, but what does it matter? Because now you can set up for this mid-tier 2 tower. Toby actually not going to go for it, surprisingly enough. They'll chip away at it slowly, but Viking, they may need to just go defend their bot lane, as Plantimos is doing a good job of forcing it in.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, they are going to start rotating Bob, but Pikachu, he's here now as well. He finds Celery with the X. Should be a very easy kill, but he misses the torrent. And Lil, he doesn't get the cogs off. Oh, that is not good. They missed everything as Chappie is going to rotate in with the Ravage. Lantimos getting jumped on. He's almost dead. Celery, Ravage is there. He will at least save the PL for now, but Toby is on the chase. He doesn't have Shapeshift for another 7 seconds, though. But he does have a Centaur. He does get the stun off, and Plantimos does go down to Boom anyway, who was in the back lines. And Toby will give him the tip as well as Boom. And that'll set up the bot tier 1 push.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
And well, Toby, he's going to have the Necro 2 book up now. Getting very close to level 3. And while all this is happening, Shad, he's been farming. He's got the Diffusal Blade up now. Every time he sees this AA, this Clockwork, every time they're by themselves, they're dead. Shad will easily pick them off. In fact, he might just find Chappie. There's no sentries in this dire jungle, and well, Chappie, diffused up, smoke screened up, has no Ravage anyway, there's no way to survive. As mid lane, they are still going for more, it seems. Toby, he's gone the Shapeshift, Pikachu going to be the target, still X-Boat going to be there with the Ice Blast, it could be enough, and Toby does drop, but they do get the Kunkka as a trade, and Lil even on the clock. Doesn't have any mana left thanks to this Diffusal of Shad, so he couldn't even hook out. And make it even worse for Cyber League as Plantimos now going down on the PL to Aramis on the Shadow Demon. And that's it, GG's been called, they had enough. An absolute disaster of a game for Cyber League. And I wouldn't even say it was because they were the way they were playing. I would just say they got completely outdrafted. Here's the thing, right? Earlier on, we looked at this draft and we said, wait a minute. Viking.gg, they went for the DP and Lycan first 2 picks. It looks really, really weird. Doesn't make any sense. It should give plenty of chance of Cyber League to try and get the D push, try and find the counters. And they sort of did, but the problem was their 2 supports were already picked up. So their 2 supports had no wave clear. They had no way of defending these team fights. Then you had a Ricky come out last pick. And the only option they had was something like a PL who could just outscale them later on. And they had no way to deal with the PL if he got to that stage. But I mean, 15 minutes in, you're that far behind. it just seemed like there was no chance. They kept missing abilities every time they got into a team fight. They must have gotten a little bit frustrated. Let's not forget, though, Cyber Legacy, they were just in a really long best of 3 up against Chicken Fighters. So they might just be a little bit tired going into this series. Still, we're going to find out. We're going to go into game number 2 very, very soon. It is MLP Dota. I'll see you all again as soon as that next draft is up.